Hey everyone, it's Adam Mitchell here with Treasure Trading, and we are back with another trade recap. Today is October 10th, 2022, and I'm ending the day up $29.99. So I made it about halfway to my profit target. You know, I'll try to be positive here. I was able to take some good winning trades. I mean, that's why I'm green, so I'm happy with that. I took a few losing trades, and I also missed some good trades and missed out on some profit on some trades that I was in. I mean, it's the same story. I keep saying I'm going to work on it, but I keep kind of having these days where I'm leaving the market and I'm just not fully satisfied. I mean, because 30 bucks, I mean, you know, I don't want to sound ungrateful, but it's not my profit target. And, you know, when I think about the fact that my max loss per trade is $20, and not saying that I always hit that $20 mark, but, you know, it's like, come on, man, let's make more. Let's make more. When are we going to start making more? Because I still don't feel like I'm at that level where I'm performing at my best, because I am missing some trades and I am still not holding some trades long enough. So, all right, let's get into my trades here. So I traded 4 stocks: APDN, IMUX, NURO, and SOBR. All right, let's get into the trades. So my first trade was on IMUX. So I can see that we're holding up at this low right here. I'm about to get in. I got in with 100 shares at 528. We're popping up a little bit, and it wasn't really popping up all that much. And then it started to crack back down, and it was looking like it was going to actually break down through this level of support. So I went ahead and sold it, and I made $2.50. And, you know, we can see right here, it's, you know, it cracked down. So I'm glad I got out of this one. So SOBR, let's look at SOBR. So this is a trade that I missed. I was heavily considering getting this dip into support here, and I didn't take the trade. And, you know, that was at about 335, I think, somewhere around there. And it curled up off that level up to 362. All right, I just missed that trade. You know, how do I not miss that in the future? Because a lot of trades that I decide not to take, it's because I'm worried that it's going to be a losing trade for some reason. So I don't know. You know, I was wrong about this one. I didn't get in it, and it popped up. All right, next trade, I was on NURO. So I could see that we had gotten this bounce off of these pre-market lows right here, which was at about 318, I'd say. And now we're coming up into 325. And I'm thinking that we're going to get that curl up, you know, maybe up into the 200 moving average. So I go ahead and get in with 100 shares at 324, and it winds up making a nice pop up. And so in that squeeze, I sold it and I made 13 bucks. All right, so that's a nice little gain there. And, you know, because we were coming up into all this resistance. So that was a good place for me to sell, right? Because we have high of day here and we have VWAP. And so it popped up, and then, you know, take profit into those levels. All right, next trade, let's see. All right, SOBR. So I'm getting in on this dip right here into the previous high of day levels. And I'm looking for this thing to curl back up into the pre-market highs. So I got in with 100 shares at 355, and we're kind of making a squeeze up, and I went ahead and sold it. I forget what it did exactly at this point, but I probably sold it super early, right? Because if I'm thinking back of mine target is up here at high of day and I'm selling it at 362, I mean, I'm clearly going against my plan. And, you know, when I think about it, my gut is telling me that more times than not, when I go against my plan, I'm not making as much as I could. And I'm probably maybe losing more than I should as well. I forget what this does, but I think I continue to trade it later on. Let's see, you know, this is SOBR. We'll see what it winds up doing eventually. Okay, so going back to IMUX. So, man, this was another trade that I missed. When I was looking at this thing and we start getting this breakdown, I'm thinking that we are going to get a pullback into this area. I mean, I was very specific about my intentions for this trade. But I thought that this wouldn't happen, like this type of pullback would happen maybe over the course of like 5 minutes. But it happened so quickly on the 1 minute chart. It dipped all the way from about 505 down to 475, and then it got bought up immediately. And by the time I realized what had happened, I'm like, dang it, man, like I had the right idea on this stock, I just didn't take the trade. So that's more profit that I missed out on. The better version of me as a trader doesn't miss these moves, right? So maybe that means I need to start putting orders out there. And I've said that before, but for the reason of these wicks appearing, right? Because this, I don't know how quickly this happened that this wick appeared. I mean, but we will see what happens here. So I'm going to press play on this, to kind of talk about why I want to put my orders out there. So I got in this trade with 100 shares for the break of this double top. Because I'm thinking, all right, we're breaking this level at 525. I'm thinking we're going to get a nice squeeze. So I got in with 100 shares. And, because this thing's really feeling like it's going to make a rip up. So I'm holding this thing, waiting for this to start squeezing up into high of day. So there we go. I'm taking half profit there. And I'm kind of debating on what I want to do. And so I just went ahead and sold the rest right there. And as we're about to see, this thing squeezes up and just like a wick, it just appears. Yeah, so right there, we saw that wick just appear. And it's like price hasn't even moved. I'm thinking that's kind of similar to what happened down here. I'm going to press pause. And what this tells me is people had their orders out there. So many people had orders out there that by the time they all got filled, price is right back down here. And I think the same thing happened down here. So there's two reasons why I want to have my orders out there. The first reason is so that it can get filled at these prices where it doesn't seem like it's spending any time up here at all. So it's like I wouldn't have time to be like, okay, this is where price is right now, I'm going to hit sell. Like it's something that happens instantly. And then also, like my trade down here, or like the trade that I missed down here, I could just put the order out at the price that I want to get in. And let's say I am looking at something else and I miss this entry opportunity. Well, my order's out there and it's going to get filled, and it'll make a noise and alert me that an order just got filled. And so that's two reasons why I want to start putting my orders out there. But of course, the anxiety around that is I put the order out there and price doesn't hit that level. It comes within maybe a couple of cents, and then I miss the trade. I miss the opportunity to get in. I miss the opportunity to get out. And those are the types of things that you deal with as traders. And it makes me think of this saying that I heard once in one of my accounting classes when I was in college. And it was that it's better to be approximately right than precisely wrong. So if you're doing everything that you could be and should be doing, you're not going to get 100% of the result that you want, right? You might get maybe 80% of the result that you want, but that's a heck of a lot better than getting 10% of the result that you want by not doing all the things that you should be and could be doing. So it's better to be approximately right than precisely wrong. Okay, let's get into my next trade here. Let's see what happens. But yeah, so I'm up 17 on this stock right now. I just took a pretty decent trade on this. I mean, this thing squeezed up from 525 all the way up to 568. I sold it, I think, at about 540 maybe. So not bad. All right, APDN. So APDN hits the halt scanner. It squeezed up from 123 all the way up to 149 and gets halted. And then, looking at the news down here, it says that they have received its largest purchase order. So I just see this headline. Okay, they just got its largest purchase order. That's really good news for this company. So we're going to keep it on watch. I'm going to wait for the halt resumption, and hopefully we can get a good trade on it. So it resumes at 166, and it kind of dropped down a little bit. I got in with 100 shares at 157. Now I'm looking for this thing to squeeze up through high of day and maybe get halted again. But that's not what it does. kind of just pops up a little bit, and I'm like, come on, let's squeeze up more. We squeeze up to 174 and kind of backed off that level. And, you know, I'm out of it now. I made 10 bucks on it, which isn't that great. But, you know, we were coming up into this resistance at the $0.25 at 175. And this thing, you know, looked like it did need to pull back again. So I got out of it. But, you know, it could have very well continued to squeeze up. And then I'd be sitting here saying, man, I need to learn to hold my trades longer. But let's see what happens on this, and let's see what my next trade is in general. All right, so my next trade is on APDN. So we can see here that it made this squeeze up to 184, and off that level, it's been pulling back. And now we're in at 164 with 100 shares because I thought that it was coming into this support level. But I think I wind up cutting it because it breaks through it. So now I'm only up $8. And then fast forwarding on the chart, I mean, we can see that it came down into the 20 moving average, formed a nice double bottom here at 156, I believe this is, and it squeezed all the way up to 178. I mean, this is a big move that I missed. I was pretty bummed out that I missed it. I mean, you know, that's more profit that I missed out on. So, you know, just another tricky day. Like, things become difficult when these moves happen, when you're not really expecting it. But maybe I should have expected it, right? I mean, we have this bottom right here. I don't know, man. It just becomes a little bit tricky. But I think I wind up taking a dip on this right here. I got in with 100 shares at 172. Now, this is probably not the best trade. I'm adding into it. I've got 150 shares at 171. I'm waiting to see this thing really squeeze up, and it's just not squeezing. And now I'm only up, you know, about $5. So I've given back half my gains on this thing. All right, and then let's go to IMUX again. So this is that stock with these wicks. And I mean, it happened again right here. It pulled back very nicely down into the $5 range, the 200 moving average, and the lower band of VWAP. I mean, it's got all this support right here. It got bought up, and now we're making that squeeze back up, and, you know, we're kind of curling up, but we keep coming into all of this resistance on the upside. But I'm about to take a trade here for the break up over these levels. So I'm going to go ahead and press play. So I'm getting in right there. It's kind of squeezing up, and then it's like it's just instantly turning around, and I don't want to hold through that, like, because this is where really big flushes can come in. So I just went ahead and sold it, and I lost like $5 or $6 on that trade. Pretty annoying, you know, because I was really hoping that we were going to get a big squeeze up, but it just didn't happen. All right, let's see what my next trade was. All right, so APDN. So we're holding the 20 moving average. We're still trending upward. And I'm looking at it, and I'm not really sure if I want to get in, because I was considering getting in for this triple top, flat top break at I think this is 169, 170. I was thinking about getting in for the break of this level because it's a very obvious level of resistance. You know, we're supposed to get in for these breaks of resistance. I didn't take the trade, and this is what happened. And it squeezed up. I mean, it really started to squeeze up, and then here I am getting in at the highs, right? I mean, this is classic, just classic bad trading of you miss the actual trade. Now you're getting in near the highs. But, you know, considering the news of the largest purchase order that it's ever had, and considering that we're trending up and we're making a pullback here, and I'm thinking, all right, I'll get in with 50 shares. Okay. You know, 50 shares is not a lot, right? Like if I were to stop out below 175, I mean, I'd be losing $5 or $7 or something. So it's not that bad. I'm deciding to kind of take a starter here and see what I can do. So then we can see that it's starting to pop up again, and I'm adding into it because I'm thinking that, okay, we're going to get a nice push. So I'm in with 150 shares now because we're now starting to get the breakout. I'm in with 150 shares at 181, and I'm waiting for this thing to really squeeze up. And now we're up at 190, and I'm like, let's just get the push up to 2. I want to just sell this thing at 2. And, we can see that I'm like really adding into this trade. I'm in with 225 shares at 183 because I'm thinking, man, like this thing's going to start running. Like it's really going to start running here. And I'm up like $10 and, we're having a hard time coming up into that level. And we can see here that it backed off and I sold it, right? Like I'm up about $5 before the trade and we get this push up and we're coming up into 90. And in all actuality, I probably should have sold it up into 190 because of the way that the chart was looking. Like it looked like it wanted to pull back, right? So we got these 3 candles here. We're coming up into 190. And then by this next 1 minute candle, I mean, it's making a nice dip and I'm selling it at that level and now I'm down. So I lost, I think, about $10 on that trade. I should have known better. I should have expected the pullback and just taken profit because this is the move that it made was from 170 up to 190. I mean, I should have taken profit into that area and expected a pullback and then gotten in on the pullback. So that was a mistake that I made. And, those are the types of things that I really need to get better at is instead of just thinking that I'm going to get the break up to $2, I need to stop and take a look for a second and realize that this thing made this push up. We're coming up into this 190 resistance level. And, this is a more than 10% move. And, that's what I am looking for before I am expecting it to turn back around, right? So I should have known to take profit into that level. And so I wind up jumping back in with that same 225 shares when I am realizing that we're getting this dip off of this level. So I'm in with 225 shares at 179 and we're getting that push back up into high of day. And I think I'm about to take profit into that level because I'm like, this is resistance and maybe needs to pull back and I have profit. I need to lock it up. So I locked it up, about $14 on that move. And now I'm back up 10 on the stock. So, it's the really good trader will take profit into this level, will add back here, and then will take profit again at this level. But instead, I wound up taking a loss by not selling it up here. And then I sold it down where I should have been buying. And then I was like, man, I should have not done that. I got back in it. And then I'm taking this profit up here. So yeah, that's just another example of how I need to improve as a trader. That's like the ideal trader is the one that can just trade this thing flawlessly based on the things that they know about the way price moves. So yeah, let's see what happens. So this is where things start to get kind of interesting on this thing. Let's see, I'm taking this dip. Okay, man, this trade right here was such a good entry. Such a good entry because I am recognizing that we are coming into the high of day, the previous high of day, which I'm hoping is going to now turn into support. We have all these buyers here at that level, but we also have a lot of sellers, but I'm thinking that this is going to hold up. So I'm first getting in with 50 shares. I'm taking a starter with 50 shares. At 185. Okay, so I see that it's holding up at this 185 level and it's curling back around. Now I'm going to add another 50 shares. And we start getting that push up. Now we're up at 197 and I'm taking profit. I've already sold half of the position and I'm about to sell the rest. So yeah, so now I'm only up $12 though. See, this is where things get a little frustrating for me because that $2 break was what I ultimately wanted to see. And this whole move right here, this is how the phenomenal, exceptional trader is going to be trading it. They're going to be getting this breakout down here. They're going to sell it up into high of day. All right. It pushed up a little bit over high of day, up to 190. So, maybe they're just selling it at 184, 185 and getting all this profit because that's a lot, right? And it squeezed up just a little bit more. All right, that's fine. But now we're getting this bigger pullback, okay, down into 175, adding back right here. And now we're taking profit up into high of day. I'm not going to be taking this 5-day breakout because that just seems a little bit too aggressive, right? So we're going to see what happens on this thing. Oh, we're coming down into this previous high of day. I'm going to get in that, right? So I took this entry and this entry right here, which I'm very proud of that. I've got to give myself credit. I've got to be positive and talk about the things I did right. And that's what I did right. I got these really good entries. Okay, we're holding up. We're going to see if this thing can break up to $2 a share, right? That is how you should be trading this thing, right? That's how I should have traded this thing. I traded this thing, you know, I probably squeezed a quarter or to a third of what I should have out of this trade. Man, this thing really made a nice move. And so that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about on this stock here. But we're going to look back at what it's done since I started recording my video here. Let's see what it winds up doing though. All right, so scrolling through this video, I came upon TOPS. Now TOPS, man, this thing put in a really good move that I missed. You know, it's just another trade that I missed. Another instance of, hey, dude, if I was the exceptional trader, I wouldn't be missing this. Right, so I mean, as we can see here, we got this really big breakout from, you know, $8. I mean, it squeezed up from $8 all the way up to $9. You know, that's a really good move. And, you know, we can see that we have this range here. It breaks out of the range. And I mean, you would be buying this thing for the break of like 820, like 820 to 825. And then maybe selling it up at high of day, right? Holding it up to maybe 850, 865, maybe 875. Yeah, I mean, this was opportunity that I missed. But yeah, let's pull that up on the chart real quick also. You know, this is a recent runner, you know, so one of those stocks that you would have on watch because it recently made a move, you know, because we can see here on Friday, you know, this was a pretty big move that it made. And so on Monday, it's got interest still. And so that brings in volume. And, you know, we can see on the 5-minute, right, we get this big breakout and we get this pullback, which this could have been a place to get in at, you know, 765. Makes a rip back up in the high of day at 855, pulls back again. And by this point, this was where I was considering taking an entry, but I didn't take the trade. And then it ranges sideways for about 15 minutes. And then it makes this big breakout. You know, so this was just another trade that I missed. But let's look at some of those other ones. You know, APDN. So APDN wound up making this move up to 230, right? It came up into 2. Let's look back at where I stopped looking at it. You know, it's about in this area was where I stopped, you know, where we just stopped looking at it. And then just as the morning went on, I mean, man, it really held this resistance at 195. I mean, even back in this area at, you know, 1024, 1025, it went from 195 all the way up to 210, winds up pulling back into this 195 area, which also corresponds with the 20 moving average here, pops back up to 205, then it comes back down again into that 195 spot, and it just winds up curling up all the way to 230. So that's interesting. Again, the really exceptional trader is going to be buying it at 195 after recognizing that it's holding up at this level and then cutting their loss if it breaks below 195. But yeah, so those were all of my trades that I took. And yeah, you know, if you guys like these videos, if you guys want to keep seeing me be green here, then please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and hit the like button. And, you know, I'm ending the day up $29.99, so that's cool. But yeah, guys, that's the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right.